who made the most of his first NHL opportunity. Reaches out with a glove. His stop sparked the Thrashers' offense. And speaking of offense, it was Kelly Buchberger who brought the Thrashers to within a goal. Late in the third period, it was Nelson Emerson. 4-4 final in Philadelphia as the Thrashers walked away with a tie. Tonight you can expect a hard-hitting contest. You want more? It's Flyers Thrashers next. It's a beautiful night in Atlanta, and that hopefully isn't spoiled by the bullies who call themselves the Philadelphia Flyers. Good evening, everyone. Well, the story once again, if you're an Atlanta Thrashers fan, it's goaltending, Darren.
The story in hockey is always goaltending, but tonight it's Norm Miracle getting his first start of 2000. The last time he played, 6-0 at Nashville, December 30th. In our opening animation, opening tease to this hockey game, you said fast forward. Norm Miracle wants to move forward with this season, with this start tonight.
And the last time Norm Miracle made a start after a lengthy absence, he won 2 in a row. On the other side, the Philadelphia Flyers, when you talk about this group, you talk special teams. They are one of the best, Darren.
They certainly are. On the power play in particular, the #1 offensive unit with the extra man, the Philadelphia Flyers, they can beat you so many ways. Mark Recchi is the playmaker. Eric Desjardins is the point man. Then, of course, you have the size and the skill of Eric Lindros and John LeClair.
These two clubs meeting in Philadelphia, 4-4 tie back on December the 23rd. Maybe a little bit of a boost going in tonight for the Thrashers.
Absolutely. And if you're the Philadelphia Flyers, could you possibly be looking ahead a little bit to tomorrow night's matchup with the New Jersey Devils, the last team to beat the Flyers before the last Thrasher-Philly game? Maybe.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the hardest ticket to come by throughout the entire season to this point. It's the Flyers and the Atlanta Thrashers. Keys to the game when we come back.
Hey, get a load of the old timer.
That there is the legendary Radio Robert.
Who?
20 years ago, he was unstoppable. Had a slap shot you could hear but could not see, hence the nickname Radio.
Yeah, well, they can call him Rusty Robert now. Hey, Rusty!
Don't say it, Tony.
Still got that shot, Tin Man? Let's see it!
Punk. Hey, maybe you should be a goalie, Tony. Tony?
It's Friday night hockey here at Phillips Arena, where tonight's Home Depot keys to the game go something like this. The Thrashers, they have to come out flying, possibly catching the Flyers, easing on into this one. Still, against the league's elite and the Flyers qualify, the Thrashers need everyone contributing, along with a few heroic efforts sprinkled in for good measure. And all night long, when down a man or at even strength, the Thrashers have to spend as little time in their end of the rink as possible, avoiding the punishing Philly forecheck. Stay with us as the Thrashers and Flyers get set to face off, coming up on the other side. The city of Atlanta tonight getting set for a matchup between the Atlanta Thrashers and the high-flying Philadelphia Flyers. A look at tonight's goaltenders. Brian Boucher getting the start tonight. He's 7-2-1 for Philadelphia. Look at that saves percentage all the way past the 90% mark. And going tonight, the big story, Norm Miracle trying to right the ship. 3-8-1 is his win-loss tie record with a goals against average of 3.66. The referee for tonight, it'll be Paul Dvorsky. And the linesman, Gord Brossiker and Dan O'Rourke. Second meeting of these two clubs this season. The first one ending in a 4-4 tie, December the 23rd in Philadelphia. Time for the opening face-off to this one, and it's brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer of the NHL. Underway, Thrashers control, and the Flyers will take it away as they set it up back through the neutral zone. Maxim Galanov is back to touch. We get a whistle. Early icing call against the Philadelphia Flyers. The injury report tonight, it's brought to you by WebMD, the healthcare destination for you and your doctor.
Get used to seeing Mike Stapleton there for the next 2 to 4 weeks with that rib injury. He hits that part of the list, and who hits the ice? Sean Donovan in his place. Ruben Ender, once again, a healthy scratch for the 3rd successive night.
Thrashers carrying 1 extra defenseman. Occasionally, teams will go with an extra defenseman, dressing 7, but tonight, Kurt Fraser, as he has most of the season, going with 6. Maxim Galanov, shot, and that's blocked out high. Eric Desjardins with it. Good check in the end boards. Denny Lambert takes it away. Now Rod Brindamore tying up with him. Thrashers trying to get a low forecheck going, something that they really didn't establish the other night, Darren, against the Washington Capitals in that final game of 3.
Down low below the hash marks is where they want to play this game, in the Philadelphia zone.
Puck is freed, and it's underneath goaltender Brian Boucher. He didn't know where it was, and so the whistle blows. Good play. Brian Boucher just forcing a face-off. Well, these two teams kind of at different ends of the spectrum. The first-year Thrashers with a mark of 10-27-4. If you're looking for a team that could go all the way in the Eastern Conference, it's got to be Philadelphia.
Especially when you take a look at that power play comparison. First in the National Hockey League are the Flyers. Go to the other side of the ledger, 24th in penalty kill for the Thrashers. So that is going to be a very difficult matchup for the Thrashers here this evening.
Dan McGillis will set it up. Ulf Samuelsson getting it outside the zone. Ulf Samuelsson was an Atlanta Thrasher. He was never signed. Pretty much picked up as a conventional or for a conditional draft pick. Eric Lindros throws to the front, and it's taken away. Lindros with a big hit just moments ago on defenseman Chris Tamer as it's cleared through center.
That's right. For Ulf Samuelsson signing with the Philadelphia Flyers as a free agent, the Thrashers this coming offseason will get a draft pick, a compensatory pick in this year's amateur draft.
As we mentioned, these two clubs in a 4-4 tie, December the 23rd at Philadelphia. Thrashers in that game, Darren, fell behind 4-1 before mounting the comeback. As Eric Lindros will give it off to Jody Hull, and he just shot wide. But head coach Kurt Fraser said a key tonight, we can't let them get the puck down low. Their size will be probably a little too much to handle.
No, realistically, you'd want to spend as little time in your own zone tonight if you're the Thrashers. That might sound obvious, but against some other teams that aren't as big physically and imposing and punishing, you might be able to get away with it. Not so against the Flyers.
Played away, and Dean Sylvester will set it up. A lot of times when you talk Philadelphia, you talk about the big line of John LeClair, Eric Lindros, and Keith Jones. They've scored 13 goals as a team in the last 3 games, but only 3 have come from that top line as Peter Buzek sends one right to the glove of Brian Boucher, and we'll get a whistle. Balanced scoring, I guess you could call it, in Philadelphia as of late.
Well, you have Rod Brindamore. He returned to the lineup around the time the Thrashers were in Philadelphia the last time, the night before to be exact. Eric Lindros, he is a punishing player, and even if he's not scoring, he's doing things like this for his team. You want to establish the forecheck, you go in and you rock the world, in this case of Chris Tamer. That's how Eric Lindros plays the game of hockey.
Chris Tamer is not exactly small. I mean, Chris Tamer probably pushing the 200-pound mark or so.
When the season starts, he starts at 205. Some guys lose some weight, but yeah, you're right. Chris Tamer, 6'1", 205 roughly.
Dean Sylvester, good play in front. They can't finish it off. Yannick Tremblay with it. Sent to the net. Played into the near corner. Dean Sylvester got stuck up high with a stick. Adam Burt's going to get a penalty, and the Thrashers will go to their first power play. And we're only 2 minutes 34 seconds into period number 1.
Adam Burt's a big physical guy in his own right, 6'2", 205. He goes into the corner, right side of your screen, gets that stick up, the hockey stick up high. Almost takes a lid off of Dean Sylvester, almost peeled it back from his forehead. For that, he will sit for 2 minutes, a high sticking infraction. 2:34,
the time of the penalty to Adam Burt. Head coach Roger Nielsen's club will be shorthanded for the next couple of minutes. And when you talk special teams, you got to talk about the inept power play on the side of the Atlanta Thrashers. Philly has a very good power play, and Darren, their penalty killing is not all that bad either. As we go to our first PowerTel power play of the evening, the official wireless provider of the Atlanta Thrashers.
Right now, Philadelphia, it's hard to find a flaw. They have won 6 straight hockey games, 4 straight on the road. They're getting it done offensively and defensively and on their special teams. What a great test here tonight for Norm Miracle and the Atlanta Thrashers.
Maxim Galanov, Nelson Emerson at the points. Up front, Andrew Burnett along with Dean Sylvester and Patrick Stefan. Andrew Burnett plays it, but it's cleared nicely by Chris Terrion. It's a top 10 power play, 8th in the National Hockey League. Maxim Galanov moves it along. Played away, excuse me, penalty killing, I should have said, for the Philadelphia Flyers. The Atlanta power play is currently ranked 25th in the NHL. Maxim Galanov with it, 1:18 remaining in the Atlanta power play. Denny Lambert crossing center, and he'll fire one deep. Maybe not a surprise that Brian Boucher goes tonight, because they play home to New Jersey tomorrow night, and they'll use their veteran goaltender John Van Biesbroek, as Nelson Emerson with a shot that's blocked out high.
Playing in back-to-back games. Number rivalry, New Jersey and Philadelphia. The teams are very evenly matched, and they're only separated by a couple points in the standings.
Yannick Tremblay sending wide. Denny Lambert will lead for Ferraro. Outletting to the right point. Yannick Tremblay, wrist shot and a save by Boucher. And the puck turns past Emerson all the way back inside the Atlanta zone.
That was the first shot on goal with the power play in 2 games. They did not register a shot on goal, the power play of the Thrashers, the entire game. So I have to say, progress. Small, but still progress.
Got to take small steps, and the development is always a key in a first-year club. We'll see what they can do here. Sean Donovan centering play, and that's knocked away and cleared by Eric Desjardins.
Well, I was talking with Coach Kurt Fraser about his defenseman. He wants them to support the rush and be part of the offense, but over the last 2 games against Washington, only 6 shots on goal from the blue line. That has to change.
Well, they dump it in, but out of the penalty box is Adam Burt, so the penalty to Philadelphia has expired. Flyers kill it off. They're back to full strength. And Rod Brindamore leads a 2-on-2 through center as he dumps deep.
But still, because they had some zone time, the Thrashers, that could key the offense. Even if you don't score on a power play situation, sometimes it can spark the attack.
Lindros in front, picked clean by Daryl Shannon. Now Lindros goes right back to take it away. In front, loose puck, Gord Murphy. Now Dan McGillis with it. Eric Lindros. Take it away. Gord Murphy, he'll backhand one through center.
Eric Lindros has been battling a hand injury. He only has 1 goal in his last 10 games, as we mentioned. Not scoring lately, still very effective. And he really struggled in that game against the Thrashers. -3, he and his line mates.
Well, the Flyers go offside. Eric Lindros' unit out there with John LeClaire and Keith Jones. Can Eric Lindros take the Philadelphia Flyers all the way to the Stanley Cup, in your opinion, Darryl?
Well, I would think that he certainly should. I like the way he plays. You look at, he has a well-rounded game. First in face-offs. Look at those goals, assists, points, totals. Some people question his consistency. He is such a physical specimen. They want him to dominate each and every night, and that's not always the case. Maybe that's what's unrealistic, the expectations on Eric Lindros.
We saw with those rankings, he's near the top of the entire Philadelphia lineup as the puck is played in behind Brian Boucher.
I mentioned that he was -3 last time against the Thrashers. That means he was on the ice for 3 goals against, while not being on the ice for his team scoring a goal. That has to change for Philadelphia. Obviously, you can't have your top centerman have a night like that.
Played away, LeClaire tries to poke it along past Daryl Shannon. Puck cleared to center. With it is Emerson, and he'll dump right back in.
And that was one of those inconsistent performances that I was talking about.
To center in a 3-on-3. Over the line with a weak shot, Damon Langkow. Langkow out there with Craig Berube and Sandy McCarthy. Played in behind the net. Holding is McCarthy in front. Now Zelepukin. One-timer, glove save, Miracle. Early test for Norm Miracle. He passes it with flying colors. Well, the beauty about email, you don't have to show your face, okay? Thrashers TV at Turner.com is our email destination tonight. Go ahead and send us your hockey-related questions. If you want to know what's going on with the Thrashers, whatever. You want to know a rules interpretation, we'll have it at Thrashers TV at Turner.com.
Was my cousins in attendance?
Cousins? I think there was part of your alumni association from Cornell or something. Maxim Galanov playing it away. Darren, they're just blue that you're no longer around Ithaca, New York, as the puck is played on an offside by Ed Ward.
Aren't you the witty one this evening?
Well, you know, every once in a while I have a couple. He's pretty witty, too. He's the head coach of the Atlanta Thrashers, Kurt Fraser.
Maybe at his wit's end sometime, but keeping his composure very well. Kurt Fraser in his first season. You see the numbers.
Thrashers right now on a pace for about 20 wins, and that's a little bit less than the Nashville Predators, but the advantage they have going into the second half, Darren, is that they've started to put it together. Granted, the game Wednesday night was a big clunker, but prior to that, head coach Kurt Fraser said, you know, we played about 10 of 12 games in an effective manner, and they're starting to generate some points.
You're right. He knows that there are going to be nights where certain limitations just rear their ugly head. There's nothing you can do about it. Get back to work the next day and try to improve upon previous performance.
Sandy McCarthy with it. He gets knocked down by Gord Murphy. Maxim Galanov in behind the net. Murphy swatting away at it. Gord Murphy at one point of his career playing for these Philadelphia Flyers. To the line, Langkow with a shot. That's blocked away, and Ed Ward forcing it back to center.
You mentioned Gord Murphy. He was an original draft pick of the Philadelphia Flyers. Played his first professional hockey as a member of the American Hockey League affiliate, the Hershey Bears, which at that time supported the Philadelphia Flyers, and he was part of their 1987 Calder Cup winning team. They went 12-0 in that playoff run.
Played away, Sylvester getting it deep for Patrick Stefan. Adam Burt chasing it in behind the net. Gord Murphy, when he played the first season in Florida, they had good success against the Flyers. I said, what did you learn from that? He said, well, you got to play a simple style game plan against the Philadelphia Flyers. He said solid positioning in our own end is a key as the puck is sent right back in, and Terriano set it up.
But you have to keep your feet moving. If you become a static or stationary target, you will get run over by the Flyers on the forecheck.
And I think so far in the first 8 minutes of this hockey game, Darren, the Thrashers have done a good job of keeping the legs going as it's cleared all the way back to center, and Tamer will give chase.
It's been an excellent start to this hockey game for the Thrashers.
Dean Sylvester. Sylvester's unit out there, Andrew Burnett and Patrick Stefan. They accounted for all 3 points in that Washington game. On Burnett's goal with Sylvester and Stefan assisting. Played away, and Rod Brindamore will dump right back in. No score, 11:35 remaining in the first tonight at Phillips Arena. Eric Lindros picked off by the play on Maxim Galanov. Puck played away to the far corner. Keith Jones down low. So the Flyers get something going on the Galanov turnover. Played to the line, Dan McGillis. Shot right on, and that just went wide of the mark. John LeClair's sharp angle shot. Lindros makes the save. Played away to the near corner. LeClair with it. And behind the net, John LeClair holding. He threw it in front. Stick save, Norm Miracle. And it's cleared right back to center ice.
Nice alert save by Norm Miracle. That was more difficult than it looked.
Played away as Kelly Buckberger gets it inside the zone. Bob Mason, the goaltender coach, he's been around Norm Miracle for the last couple of weeks. He's trying to work on his lateral movement from one side to the other as Kelly Buckberger dumps right back in. He said Norm Miracle's really a first save style type of goaltender. It's the lateral movement moving from left to right that they've really tried to work with him since his lengthy layoff started. Flyers set it up. Simone Gagne with a shot. Never made it. Cleared away by Ray Ferraro, and he'll skate it back. 4-on-3. Left wing dish. Denny Lambert with a shot that went wide. And the puck is cleared away. Gagne and Craig Berube. Berube shooting, and a sick save that time by goaltender Norm Miracle. To the line. Burt scooped up Miracle. Another one. And he holds on to force a face-off.
And the hometown crowd cheering the early exploits of Norm Miracle, who has had to live with his last performance against Nashville, a 6-0 loss. One of the things they've worked on with Norm Miracle is being aggressive and challenging. Look at the distance he is outside the top of that crease, cutting down the angle. Good read. He knew the guy coming down the middle was well protected by Sean Donovan. It was going to be a shot off the wing. That's what you have to do as a netminder. Read where the danger might be. He did a nice job there knowing there was only going to be shot off the wing, got out, and was aggressive.
Darren, that time Norm Miracle also jumped right back up to his skates. Take us through that as a goaltender.
You have to be able to recover and react for that next chance in case there's a rebound bid. We talked about his lateral movement. Goaltending coach Bob Mason. It's not so much that Norm Miracle is slow going side to side. He's just developed some bad habits in his career, relying on his exceptional glove hand, and he's been lazy in his pursuit of that kind of move going side to side.
Donovan, big blast. That caromed right off the stick of Brian Boucher and up over the glass and out of play. Sean Donovan, no score tonight in Phillips. Thrashers TV at Turner.com. Our first question tonight from Scotty wants to know, are the shots that hit the crossbar or post considered shots on goal? And who makes the determination if a shot is on goal?
Scott, good question. If the puck clanks off the iron, it is not considered a shot on goal. It's determined by if the puck would have entered the net if the goaltender was not there. That's what determines whether a shot is on goal or not. Who makes the tabulation? Off-ice officials. There's a crew of them counting all kinds of things, including shots on goal.
Played away back to center ice, Yannick Tremblay. He'll move it along. Tremblay dumping into the corner as he gives chase. So far tonight, early indications and early signs. The Thrashers really moving their feet. They keep their feet moving, and it's helped them early on in a 0-0 tie.
Move the puck, move your feet. You have to do that against a big, aggressive team like the Philadelphia Flyers.
Played behind the net, Yannick Tremblay. And Ed Ward will move it through center. Nice lead pass, Andreas Karlsson. It's onside, but the Flyers will snuff that away before it's picked off by Ed Ward. Ward hit by Damon Langkow. Ed Ward has played probably his best hockey all season long. Now Terrion and Matt Johnson having words after a hit in the corner. And a little bit of fisticuffs erupting. Eric Desjardins having words with Matt Johnson.
Well, Matt Johnson tried to get Eric Desjardins, tried to goad him into a fight. He was having none of it, and that's when his defensive partner, Chris Terrion, came to his rescue. Nobody really wanted to take too seriously the thought of fighting Matt Johnson. Chris Terrion, though, he's a big, strong kid. He could probably tangle and go toe-to-toe with Johnson.
Matt Johnson, when talking to him about this game against Philadelphia, he says you always have to be physical. Great players, they've got them. And said also, too, that tie, the 4-4 tie last month in Philadelphia, really gave the club some confidence. And he said, you know, now we know we can play with them, and that's key.
No, it was improbable the way they came back, but they also saw what it took. It was some great play down the middle. Centerman Kelly Buchberger that night had a terrific night. And in goal, Scott Bankhouse, his first ever National Hockey League appearance, was terrific. And they need more of the same from the centerman and the goaltender here tonight if it's to be successful.
I also asked Matt Johnson, I said, well, you're getting a lot of scoring opportunities. That's not all that common for Matt Johnson in the past, as Mark Recchi takes it right to the net. He gets upended. And we will get a call from Paul Dvorsky. Maxim Galanov will go for upending the speedy Mark Recchi. And this will result in the first Flyers power play of the evening. Head coach Kurt Fraser's club will be shorthanded for the next 2 minutes as we take another look.
Max Galanov does a nice job on Mark Recchi. He has good body positioning. He's inside the whole way. Mark Recchi kept his feet churning. That's a very questionable call in my estimation, because Max Galanov was in front of Recchi. He did not actually hold or hook or take his man down because he lost body position. The guy who didn't have good positioning was Greg Dvorsky. He made that call from the neutral zone on the back side of the play, and it probably looked worse from his vantage point.
Well, we talk about moving the feet, and a lot of times the difference between just a takedown and a takedown resulting in a penalty is the ability of the offensive player to keep his feet moving.
Right, you will draw a lot of calls if you keep those skates churning.
Power play out there. Eric Lindros, John Leclerc, and Simone Gagne up front with Mark Recchi and Eric Desjardins at the point. This is the top-rated power play unit in the National Hockey League as the puck go over the glass, and we'll get another face-off. Eric Lindros quarterbacking the power play. Not only is he a great player, Darren, but he's just so big. He's got that physique that is rather intimidating, I would imagine, when you're on the ice.
Oh, and he might come up with the odd loose puck in the corner to keep that power play alive in the offensive third.
There are the numbers of the Thrashers penalty killing unit, currently ranked 24th in the NHL. Mark Recchi at the line. He'll set it up.
And you just showed right there, did Lindros one key to their power play. He wins a lot of faceoffs.
Good play, Kelly Buchberger. He didn't worry about the puck. He took Lindros right off the play, and that enables the Thrashers to dump down the link with 1:34 remaining in the minor penalty to Maxim Galanov. As
a centerman, if you lose the draw, which Buchberger did there, he stayed with his man Lindros and did not let him get loose and get back into the offensive side of the thing.
Cleared to the line, but not out. Eric Desjardins for Recchi. In tight, knocked away Shannon, but he can't clear. Far side, Simone Gagne, the rookie, in tight, John Leclerc. Back to the point. Holding is Desjardins. Weak little shot blocked by Buchberger. Clearing it is Murphy, and we'll get a whistle. Murphy just kind of falling on top and taking extra swipes at it. A couple of the Flyers, including Simone Gagne. Kelly Buchberger coming to the rescue, as does Sylvester and Shannon.
And the rescue, Kelly Buchberger, he's the captain, he's the instigator. He went right over to the face wash with the smelly hockey glove, palm to mush. Partially blocks the shot. Gordon Murphy goes down, comes up with the fumble, and there's the dig, the extra dig right there by Gagne, and everybody converges there. Here we go. A little bit of a face wash by Kelly Buchberger. Nothing that will get a penalty, especially a rookie and a veteran like Buchberger, but it sends a message nonetheless.
Change of power play unit for Philadelphia. Rod Brindamore out there with Michael Renberg and Damon Lankow. They'll continue with Recchi and Desjardins out the points and the penalty killers. No longer Kelly Buchberger as he gets instruction from head coach Kirk Frazier, but they'll go with Nelson Emerson, Daryl Shannon, also out there Denny Lambert and Gord Murphy. Dean Sylvester kind of listening in to get a couple of pointers as it's cleared by Emerson down the length of the ice. Nelson Emerson, speaking of Nelson, he had the game-tying goal in that game last month in Philadelphia.
Well, he played on the Buchberger line. He had a goal and an assist, did Emerson. The goal tied the game. He also had 5 shots on goal in that one. He leads the team in shots on goal, and he did that night as well.
Mark Recchi with it. Shot right on, comes through the crease, but Lankow can't put it home. Eric Desjardins at the line. He'll set it up, skates in, shoots, he hit the post. And that is not a shot on goal, as we indicated earlier with that email.
But it is a bullet dodge.
One played away, and holding is Emerson. And it's sent right back down the length of the ice.
One of the keys we mentioned, Matt, you do not want to spend much time in your own zone at even strength or on the power play. Far too much zone time by the Flyers on this power play. The Thrashers are going to have to find a way to disrupt this power play up ice.
Damon Lankow, weak shot. Into the near corner. Meanwhile, the penalty to Galanov for Atlanta has come to an end, so the Thrashers are back to full strength.
They got through it this time, but they're going to have to make an adjustment for future penalty kill situations.
One-timer Lindros partially deflected away by Tamer, and here come the Thrashers, 3-on-2, led by Maxim Galanov. Galanov with it. He shoots, save, loose rebound in front, and the Flyers will clear it away. Back comes Jones for Lindros. Lindros sets it up right through the crease. And playing in far side, Ed Ward, he'll dump to center.
Great job by Chris Tamer taking his man Dan McGillis, the defenseman, who jumped up into the rush.
Quick change here for the Flyers. Playing it is Peter Buzek. Blocked away, Eric Lindros getting a piece of it. He gets upended by Peter Buzek, Lindros that is, and he'll set it up near corner. Adam Bird can't play it along, and it's taken away. Back to center ice for Matt Johnson, who will fire it right back inside the Philadelphia zone. Late first period, a 5:38 remaining in the opening frame as it's played right back in by Gord Murphy. Flyers dump deep. This could be an icing call. Maxim Galanov hustles back. They'll beat the ex-Atlanta Thrasher to the puck. Jody Hall. Still no score. Flyers, Thrashers.
I'm sick and tired of hearing that our league is inferior to the NHL. Yeah! It is time for us to show the world what they are missing. Yeah! Let us take our product to the people. Yeah! To do this, we must first name a commissioner, someone who is savvy, connected, someone with a past. All those in favor, raise your hand. Where is Murph? What? Oh, why do I bother? Look at you!
Probably cannot see it, but you certainly can hear it. As that one rattles off the right goalpost.
No score late here in the first. It's handled by Buzek at the line. He shoots one wide. Sean Donovan, good chase to keep it in, but the Flyers clear it back to center. This is the second of 4 meetings between these two clubs. One more trip to Philadelphia. Flyers will come back for one more game here at Phillips Arena a little bit later on in the season. Peter Buzek with it. Ray Ferraro getting it back through center ice. Yannick Tremblay will join the rush. Sent right in. Brian Boucher with the save. Shots right now 7-4, favoring the Atlanta Thrashers as it's played in behind the net for Luke Richardson. The center for Simone Gagne. Taken off the puck by Chris Tamer, and the Thrashers clear it again. Sean Donovan. Get to the line. Rubbed out of the play by Chris Terrion. Eric Desjardins, what a season he's having. In fact, Flyers general manager Bobby Clark saying he's having a Norris Trophy type winning season. The Norris Trophy is given out every spring to the best defenseman in the NHL.
Offensively, he's cooled off a little bit, has Desjardins, but he is having a Bobby Clark and everybody who follows him magnificent season.
That Ward's shooting, and that goes wide. Cleared all the way around, back to center ice.
But general manager Bob Clark, he wouldn't be known to really politic, would he, for his own players? Nah, not at all.
Bobby Clark, the general manager of the Flyers, one of what they used to call the Broad Street Bullies in Philadelphia. Some great Philadelphia Flyers clubs in the mid-70s.
They won 2 Stanley Cups. They brawled their way to the top, the Broad Street Bullies, because they just physically overmatched everyone. And oh, guess what? They fought an awful lot in those days.
The building, the old Spectrum, which is across the parking lot from the First Union Center, is on Broad Street, hence the name Broad Street Bullies. Played to center. Rod Brind'Amour on a 3-on-3. He's got Mark Recchi and Valeri Zelepukin. Down low, Recchi right to the net. And a save by goaltender Norm Miracle. That one just kind of popped right up and into his glove. Well, Kelly Buchberger is the team captain of the Atlanta Thrashers. We're halfway through this season, so we asked Kelly Buchberger to give us his evaluation of how things have worked out.
Well, I think we wish we would have had a few more wins. We've played well. We've only been blown out maybe 3-4 times throughout the whole half the season. But I think we're pretty happy the way things are going. We still have a lot of games to play, and we still want to strive for that last playoff spot. But overall, I think we're pretty happy.
Kelly Buchberger, a great choice to be captain of a first-year hockey club like the Thrashers, and earlier on tonight getting involved with it physically as a shot right on, steered by Norm Miracle.
It was maybe the most obvious choice that there possibly could have been.
Minor penalty coming up here, a delayed call against Philadelphia. Miracle quick to the bench, extra attacker out there for the Atlanta Thrashers. And they can move the puck along as long as they maintain possession before we get a whistle. And now the Flyers touch up. And we get the call, and the penalty will be made. It's going to be Weed holding the stick. And so the Flyers will be penalized. The Thrashers will go to the power play. Oh, Samuelson going to the penalty box.
Delayed penalty that may have looked strange for some fans who are new to hockey with the goaltender leaving the bench. You mentioned Ulf Samuelsson. That penalty was going to be whistled immediately when Philadelphia got possession of the puck, so they could not shoot the puck and score. Thus, the goaltender could go to the bench for the extra attacker. Roger Nielsen now sees his team go down a man for the second time in this one. Into your screen, down in the middle, Ulf Samuelsson has Sean Donovan all wrapped up, tied up in knots. That's the infraction.
Played in behind the net. Nelson Emerson will move it along, and a power play, the official wireless provider of the Thrashers. Ryan Boucher clearing it away. Jody Hull out there killing the penalty. Dean Sylvester up front with Andrew Burnett and Patrick Stefan. Stefan will play it. Daryl Shannon, one of the 2-point men. Now Nelson Emerson, the other point man with it. Burnett. Dean Sylvester lets it go. Momentarily, Patrick Stefan, loose puck, and it's cleared by Brind'Amour down the lane. Daryl Shannon moves it back inside the zone, down to 1:09 remaining in the Thrashers power play. Patrick Stefan got lit up by Eric Lindros, and he gets right back up.
A welcome wagon, Eric Lindros.
Some welcome wagon.
Welcome to the National Hockey League, Patrick Stefan.
Maybe a hitting gift certificate or something in that one as it played down low. Andrew Burnett with it. One-timer Nelson Emerson right on, and Boucher makes the save as it bounces in behind the net. Holding in front, Ferraro giving goal. Burnett right to the front. He can't put it home. Cleared by Lindros. Oh, what a chance. Maybe the best chance on the power play in the last 3 games.
Just misfired, did Brunette, as he tried to walk the puck to the dangerous scoring area right at the top of the crease.
Half a minute to go in the Atlanta power play, and again clearing it are the Flyers down the length of the ice.
Still a little fancy for my liking are the Thrashers on the power play, especially with the rookie Boucher. His numbers are great in goal for Philadelphia this year, but he will give up rebounds. He showed that in the last meeting between the teams.
Way behind the net, Andreas Karlsson can't touch up first, and we get a whistle on the icing call against the Atlanta Thrashers. Andreas Karlsson doesn't believe it. But believe this, Andreas, we're just 1:07 away from our first intermission. And coming up, Darren will sit down with that man, the head coach of the Philadelphia Flyers, Roger Nielsen. He will get a bone marrow transplant for his cancer coming up, I believe, next month. Pharrell will be back in the box in highlights, and we certainly wish a speedy recovery and back to health for head coach Roger Nielsen.
Started his chemotherapy treatments about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it's just an amazing story. He's a great man, and as you said, we wish him all the best.
So the face-off's going to be marked back inside. Down to just 11 seconds remaining in the minor penalty to Ulf Samuelsson. No score tonight, 1:07 left in period 1. Buckberger, Emerson also out there. Jason Botterill. Quick shot on the shorthanded bid by Lankow is steered away by Norm Miracle.
Good anticipation on that one by Miracle, dropping to his knees, knowing that Lankow only had the spin move, and the shot then, because of that, would probably come in low, and it did.
Flyers back to full. Samuelsson quickly to the Philadelphia bench. Laid down low. Kelly Buckberger with it. Buckberger holds, looking around to the line. Gord Murphy, a wrist shot, and that hit traffic in front. Cleared away. Nelson Emerson to the line. Gord Murphy shooting it again, but it's cleared away and sent down the length. Hustling back Maxim Galanov, and they wave off the icing at the last second. Jason Botterill through center ice. Now Kelly Buckberger, and he'll loft one back in. 20 seconds remaining period. One scoreless tie so far between the Thrashers and the Flyers. 15. Luke Richardson to center, picked off by Denny Lambert. Now Sean Donovan. He'll dish to Buckberger. Little shot right on. And Boucher makes the save. They battle for it in the near corner. Billy clears, and that's it. End of the first tonight. And now Kelly Buckberger wants a piece of whoever Flyer is offering to buy.
That's old school right there. Buckberger tried to mix it up with Brindamore, and 2 other Flyers came in.
Here goes Craig Berube, I believe, with Denny Lambert. It's actually Luke Richardson. This happening right at the 20-minute mark of period number 1. Denny Lambert getting a right hand in. Luke Richardson coming back with a couple, and so does Denny.
Richardson 6'3", 210. Decided size advantage, but that is...
You expect rookies to be a little intimidated the first time around. But this guy, he doesn't hold back.
Listen, I've been playing and coaching professional hockey for 24 years, and I've never seen moves like the moves he makes.
Not only is he good for the Thrashers, he's good for the city. A real role model for our kids.
Atlanta Thrashers single game seats are on sale now. Call 404-584-PUCK. That's 404-584. Underway here tonight for the second period as the puck is dumped inside the Philadelphia zone. No scores. We begin period 2, and it's played back through center ice. Keys in that first period, in my opinion, Darren, the fact that the Thrashers really kept their feet moving, and they were able to generate opportunities. Good goaltending at both ends. Norm Miracle for Atlanta, Brian Boucher for Philadelphia.
I think they played exactly the way Coach Kurt Frazier wanted them to in net first.
Eric Lindros, front of the net. Loose puck. It was on its side, so Emerson swoops away and takes it through center for Jason Botterill. Chasing it in behind the net. Samuelsson is there. Flyers trying to get it out, and it's cleared back to center ice. Don't forget about the penalties. The 5-minute major penalties at the 20-minute mark. Denny Lambert and Luke Richardson going at the 20-minute mark for fighting. So neither team will skate shorthanded, but they will be without the services of those 2 players for the next 5 minutes. Mark Recchi, and he'll dump right back inside the zone. Dean Sylvester to set it up. Looks like a penalty coming here. It's going to be an interference call against Atlanta's Gord Murphy. And this will result in a Philadelphia power play. While we check the penalty, we'll take a look at the game stats. Scoring chances very even, and the face-offs also even to this point.
If you take a look at the Atlanta side of the ledger for shots on goal, of those 9, 4 from defensemen. And that's a big turnaround. Obviously, in that first 20 minutes, Matt, the blue line is supporting the forwards on the attack, and that's something the Thrashers need desperately here against the Flyers. Penalty moments ago, watch Gord Murphy. He's number 5. He's going in right here on his guy. Takes him down right there. Interference is the call. Watch, he takes his man off the puck. He rides him into the board. Damon Lankow isn't allowed to pursue the puck. Gord Murphy isn't allowed to play for the next 2 minutes.
This face-off of the power play brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer of the NHL. Power play in and out there of Rod Brindamore, Damon Lankow, and Michael Renberg. The point men, McGillis, also out there, Chris Terrian, and it's cleared to the line and out by Daryl Shannon. Chris Terrian with it. Should point out that the Flyers have outscored the opposition in the second period by 14 goals this season. The Thrashers have been outscored by 13. We'll see what happens here. Flyers with another minute 30 left in their power play with Gord Murphy in the penalty box.
But out of context, actually the second period has been rather successful for the Thrashers by comparison. You compare their first and third periods, outscored more than that 13 mark that you mentioned in the second period.
Thrashers scoring at a rate of 2.2 goals per game and 3.2 for the Flyers as they'll set it up in the near corner to the line. Dan McGillis with a shot just deflected wide by Brindamore. Sean Donovan battling for it. Michael Renberg to the line. Holding his Recchi. He'll take a shot. Glove save, Norm Miracle. And he holds on. Mark Recchi testing the glove. We should point out in the warm-up tonight, Darren, that the Thrashers in warm-up were going with a lot of glove shots on Norm Miracle. A lot of shots towards the glove side.
To get his confidence going, because that is his best weapon. He has a great glove hand. They can feel the puck, catch the puck, get his confidence going, and this first 20-odd minutes has to have done just that for Norm Miracle. There's nothing worse than to sit on a 6-0 loss. His last start 15 days ago to Nashville on the road. He's had to live with that all this time, doing a nice job putting that far behind him.
Eric Lindros' unit out there with Simone Gagne, John LeClaire up front. Mark Recchi and Eric Desjardins at the point. Knocked away Daryl Shannon. He'll play to Ray Ferraro. Good example there of in the shooting lane as it's sent right back, and the Flyers will set it up with 40 seconds left in their power play. The center, Simone Gagne, having an excellent rookie season, clearing it, however, Carlson, and sending it right back down the length of the ice.
Impressive rookie himself, Andreas Carlson. Nice read by he and Max Galanov. They pinched off Gagne along the boards, didn't allow him to enter the zone.
Ward, Galanov, Carlson, and Shannon out there killing the final 17 seconds of this Philadelphia power play. Eric Lindros battling for it, taken away by Daryl Shannon, and clearing again back to center. We've played about 3 minutes here tonight. Second period, Phillips Arena, no score. Lindros, we're going to get around Galanov. Meanwhile, the penalty is over to Gord Murphy. So the Thrashers are back to full strength as it's sent right back down the length of the ice. Ryan Boucher with it. Quick change here. Normal unit out right now for the Atlanta Thrashers with Buckberger up front. Joining him, Jason Botterill, and staying out is Ed Ward as we get a whistle right at the Atlanta blue line. Well, kids, we've got a great club for you. It's called the Atlanta Thrashers Kroger's Kids Club. If you're 14 or under, you can join. You'll receive Thrashers merchandise, newsletters. You'll even get a birthday card on your best day of the year. For more information, you can pick up an application at a Kroger store near you, or you can go to www.thrashersatlantathrashers.com. Kid's got a corduroy jacket on. I didn't think it was that cold today, Darren.
A little brisk today. The sun was shining, but for these parts, it never did really warm up.
I have a feeling we're going to be packing the long johns and the heavy coats when we go to New York for that game Sunday. Back through center ice. A couple of afternoon games coming up for the Thrashers. Sunday in New York against the Rangers, and then Monday, the Martin Luther King holiday, will be in Boston. Television in Boston. It'll be radio only for that one on 790 The Zone.
Boston, they were dumped on by 4 inches of snow, I heard. So you're right. We'll be packing our woolen.
Grabbing the mufflers or whatever they call them up in your native land.
You have to wear a toque.
A toque,
stocking
a hat,
cap.
right? Played back in front, but Matt Johnson can't finish it off for Andreas Karlsson. It's cleared to center. And Tremblay finding the outlet, and he'll dump right back in. 4.5 gone here in the second period. No score tonight. Thrashers and the Flyers. Zella Pukin and Gord Murphy giving chase. Max Galanov to set it up. Through center ice. Dan McGillis is there. Flyers playing it right back to center ice. The more and more the Thrashers hang around in this hockey game, Darren, you got to believe that they're just going to continue to grow in their confidence as it's played back. Recchi beats Max Galanov to the puck.
Whenever you play one of the league's elites, and you can shorten the game by hanging around, as you say, it's decidedly an advantage to be able to do that.
Penalty forthcoming here. Big hit in the corner by Dean Sylvester on Renberg, but it's going to result in an Atlanta penalty as it's touched up by Galanov. We get the whistle. Interference is going to be the call from referee Paul Dvorsky. And not happy head coach Kurt Fraser. The Fraser's club will be shorthanded. Dean Sylvester pleading his case, saying I was nowhere near the play. Another look.
Michael Renberg, he has the puck. He leaves the puck. His guy picks it. His teammate picks it up. It's a timing issue. As McGillis came in, number 3 from the point, and picked the puck up, Sylvester was already committed to laying a lick on Renberg. But because the puck had been exchanged, that's why interference. You're not allowed to hit a guy who doesn't have possession of the puck. And it was just a split second, a tough break for the Thrashers. Gord Murphy continuing to talk to referee Paul Dvorsky. A tough break for Dean Sylvester and for the Thrashers.
Well, Gord Murphy might be saying to referee Paul Dvorsky, hey, it's a split-second reaction type of play. You got to give us a little leeway. I think that's what head coach Kurt Fraser is wondering right now. So Lindros, Brind'Amour, and Simon Gagne back out there. The power play in it. Penalty killers Galanov, Ferraro. Also out there, Gord Murphy and Sean Donovan. Eric Dujardin with it. Holding on to it. Dujardin looking around, set one to the point, knocked away Gord Murphy, and he'll clear this one up into the Flyers bench. That'll force a face-off inside the Atlanta zone. Mark Recchi, very dangerous. Doesn't matter what situation you were in. Mark Recchi will stay out there here for this face-off on the power play. Well, deep in the heart of Nashville, the Bluebird Cafe, country's greatest songwriters. They get their start there, a lot of them anyways. You can join us for this true Southern original Tuesdays at 8, Sundays at 7, right here on Turner South. Behind the net, Sean Donovan clearing to the line but not out. Now Simon Gagne can't play it as it's cleared back to center ice. Good forecheck. 2 players up high that time for Atlanta in the presence of Ray Ferraro and Sean Donovan. Simon Gagne with it. Eric Lindros in tight, circling shot and a stick save. Norm Maracle. Lindros out of the corner, and it's sent down the length of the ice.
Nice composure by Miracle. He got his shoulders square to Eric Lindros' shot. That's what you want to do as a goaltender. Square up, away as much of the net as possible.
1:07 remaining in the Flyers power play as it's sent right back in by Nelson Emerson. Around the boards, Recchi to center ice. Tamer grabs a hold of it, and he clears through center. Knocked free. Right back to the line. Flyers onside as Lindros will dump in behind the net. Daryl Shannon, oh, good move. Played it right through his skates, but he can't clear the zone. Rod Brind'Amour. Dan McGillis right to the line. Mark Recchi at the right point. Dan McGillis holding. Half a minute left in the Flyers power play. Brind'Amour with it. They work it to the line. Quick shot deflected high by Lindros. Played into the near corner. Lindros looking to gain the handle, but this one's flipped over the glass and out of play. So a face-off coming inside the Atlanta zone. Power play points are a huge key to any successful National Hockey League club. We talked about the Flyers' power play. They're number one of the main reasons. Darren, that man, Mark Recchi.
Most of those coming as helpers. He leads the league, as that graphic illustrates, with points. He also leads in assists. And you throw in rookie Simon Gagne, his 12 power play points, leads all rookies.
Mark Recchi played for the Philadelphia Flyers. He also played for Pittsburgh. But prior to playing for the Flyers, he's actually played for them twice. Traded to Montreal and then traded back to the Philadelphia Flyers.
And he was a free agent. Could have signed with anyone this offseason. Elected to come back to Philadelphia. And I think everybody in the city of brotherly love very happy about that.
Holding his line, Cali go in tight. Michael Renberg cutting in behind the net, comes in front. A chance, just shot over the top of the net. Norm Miracle was sprawled out, looked like a pinwheel on that play. And meanwhile, Sylvester comes out of the box. Handling it is Ed Ward, and he clears right back into the bench areas. And so the penalty has expired, and it's still 0-0.
I'm sick and tired of hearing that our league is inferior to the NHL. Yeah! It is time for us to show the world what they are missing. Yeah! Let us take our product to the people. Yeah! To do this, we must first name a commissioner, someone who is savvy, connected, someone with a past. All those in favor, raise your hand. Where is Murph? What? Oh, why do I bother? Look at you.
Norm Miracle, he's a scrambler, a battler, but you don't want to get scrambly. If we could stop it right there, guys. He's already committed to one knee, so he has to either get back up on his feet or make a scramble move. He elects to stack the pads, both pads, to his left. Very fortunate was Norm Miracle that the puck did not hit the top part of the net. He gambled that they were going to shoot low. That's what that move was designed to do.
Darren, all night long we've been talking about how Norm Miracle is playing out of the blue, which is right in the crease, but that time he plays on the line. Explain when a goaltender plays back on the line when the play gets close.
Well, the play was originating from behind the net, so he had to go post to post. That's why he was already on the goal line. He was following the player moving from his left to right, and then the puck went out front where all the traffic was. It was a bouncing puck, so instead of popping up to his feet, he elected to slide. Watch what he does here. He commits to a knee right here. Now, this is what I don't really like, because now he's already, for no reason, when the puck was behind the net, he'd already put himself in a position to have to flop and scramble. The second move, stacking the pads, is a pretty good play to take away the low part of the net. But had he not committed so early to one knee going post to post, he wouldn't have put himself in that position. But that's the way Norm Miracle plays.
Flop and scramble, that sounds like a new breakfast platter. Have to try one of those on the road.
Oh, as if you haven't.
Just a few of them. Played right back in. Good job, Dean Sylvester, to get it deep. Yeah, I'll have a flop and scramble. Decaf coffee, play back to center.
Want grits with that?
That's one thing I will not eat. Offside right at the Philadelphia line. Thrashers TV at Turner.com, the email address. Kurt Frazier probably wondering what's on everybody's mind tonight. Pat wants to know, do teams ever play a man-to-man defense like football? Another great question.
Great question, Pat. When a team skate four skaters aside, when one guy from each team is thrown in the penalty box, that's more man-on-man coverage. What most teams play nowadays is a version of a man zone, which means that you give up your man that you're dedicated to skate with if he leaves your zone in the defensive third of the ice. Great question, Pat.
Darren, that brings up an interesting situation that happened a couple of weeks in Toronto a couple of weeks ago. Ken Dryden, who was a great Montreal Canadiens goaltender, now the GM for Toronto.
Cornelian.
He said, why do they call it 4-on-4 hockey? You know, what about the goaltenders? They're out there. It really should be called 5-on-5. Spoken from a true goaltender. You guys all stick together, don't you?
Yeah, it's part of the union. You never lose your goaltender's union card.
That's surprising. You've never paid your dues. Played away. Kelly Buckberger, big hit in the neutral zone, but Lindros will carry it along as he's bumped by Shannon. Daryl Shannon frees it, and it's sent through center. Jason Botterill may have something going. Play to the line, shooting, and Boucher with a stick save. Nelson Emerson was breaking right to the net. Looked like a play a couple of games ago here against the Washington Capitals when Buckberger and Emerson had hooked up for a goal. Eric Lindros, so good with a stick. He shoots just wide. Another shot, getting a piece of that, Norm Miracle.
What a wicked wrist shot Lindros possesses. He does not have to wind up. He has big, powerful, strong hands and wrists, and he just whipped it at Norm Miracle.
Played away to the far boards. Flyers content to clear back to center. Maxim Galanov reads it, plays it along. Denny Lambert out of the box to Ferraro. Playing it in behind the net. Dan McGillis intercepting. Flyers come right back to center. Michael Renberg crossing center, and he sends right to Norm Miracle. This time he just holds on to force a faceoff. Aaron, we still got a whole platter of games coming up in the month of January. Beginning Sunday on UPN at 1:30. The New York Rangers will be at Madison Square Garden. Radio only Monday from Boston. But look at that schedule. Rangers come in, Phoenix. A couple of games with the Pittsburgh Penguins. One up there, one back here. And our final trip of the year to Tampa Bay on the 29th. Turner South and UPN, your television outlet, along with the radio outlet 790 The Zone, the flagship station for the Thrashers on the radio side.
There's some funky get-ups.
They're funkified. Played in behind the net. Ray Ferraro will move it along. So far tonight, Thrashers have done a good job of staying away from some bad penalties that haunted them in that game on Wednesday night against Washington.
They've put Philadelphia on the power play 3 times. I don't think you want to go much further than that in terms of giving them opportunities. On average, they score 1 every 4 times. More than that, actually. So you know that you're starting to play with fire if you put the Flyers on the power play more than 4 times in a hockey game.
Played away. Ed Ward holds. Denny Lambert. Now Ray Ferraro sends in behind the net. Ed Ward will give chase. Ward drilled that time by Luke Richardson. Puck played away. Minor penalty coming here against the Flyers. Interference, I think, will be the call as Denny Lambert is upended. Thrashers power play when we come back.
They say everything is showbiz. Well, watch Denny Lambert coming from the right side of your screen. He checks Michael Renberg. He goes down in a flop. He draws the call. Renberg goes to the penalty box. Thrashers to the power play.
Renberg at 10:20 for interference. Another power play for the Atlanta Thrashers, the official wireless provider of the Thrashers. We'll see if they can jump out and take the lead. Maxim Galanov defensively with Nelson Emerson at the point, and up front they go with Patrick Stefan, Dean Sylvester, and Andrew Burnett. On the line, Maxim Galanov holding. Shot wide, played in behind the net. Dean Sylvester is there. And Patrick Stefan fighting through a check. Our corner, and it's cleared all the way back down the length of the ice.
The veteran Eric Desjardins very aggressive in his pursuit of the youngster Patrick Stefan. 2 years from now, Patrick Stefan will show a little more patience in that instance, especially on the power play, and he won't give the puck up. That really did lead to the easy clear by the Flyers. Flushed out from behind the net with Stefan.
Sean Donovan gave it up. Look out in front, Gagne. He fired it high and wide. Maybe the best scoring chance for the Flyers so far in this 0-0 tie as Sean Donovan brings it back. Andrew Burnett will set it up, but it's knocked away. David Lankow back one-on-one against Trombley. Lankow wrist shot, and Miracle making the save.
Lankow, he's a fine player. Underrated. He leads the Flyers in game-winning goals with 5. He's just a very determined kind of player, tenacious. And what depth do you have in Damon Lankow as your third-line centerman?
He's the brother of Scott Lankow, goaltender who is playing in Orlando right now for the Thrashers organization. 25 seconds left in the penalty to Michael Renberg. Play right back to center ice. Daryl Shannon, lead pass on left wing for Ray Ferraro. Into the corner with Luke Richardson, and we get a whistle. And I guess an icing call here against Atlanta. Well, the Philadelphia Flyers, if you see the number 5 in the corner, that is in honor of their fallen defenseman, Dmitry Tertishny. Dmitry Tertishny was killed this summer in a boating accident. We had a lot of just bad news. Of course, the cancer news for head coach Roger Nielsen, not to mention longtime Philadelphia Flyers television voice Gene Hart succumbed to cancer and died earlier last season in 1999. So it's been a tough stretch for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Tertishny, what a tragedy. He was out on the West Coast in Vancouver, attending a camp after his rookie year, and a fatal boating accident was caught the entire hockey world by. It was just a terrible thing, caught everybody by surprise and off guard.
10 seconds left, Thrashers power play. And we get a whistle right at the Atlanta line. Should clarify something too as you look at the power play numbers. Head coach Kurt Fraser looking on. Moments ago we showed you the upcoming television games. We mentioned that Monday is a radio-only game, and whenever there are radio-only games at any night, you can catch the games not only on 7090 The Zone in Atlanta, but also the new Lake 102 up in Buford and the new Mix 98.1 in LaGrange. All stations, I understand, that Norm Miracle listens to.
What kind of music do you think? He's a rocker. He's
Heavy metal kind of guy.
heavy metal. Yes, he is. Absolutely.
Played around, Flyers. They're back to full strength. Michael Renberg out of the penalty box. That one might have caught linesman Gord Brossiker on the dump-in play. Adam Burt moves it along through center. Jody Hull is there. Drop past John LeClaire, sent in front, knocked away by Shannon, and cleared outside the zone.
How about Jody Hull with the 7 goals, no assists, the 7-0 record. Some good middle relief by Jody Hull right there, picking up some victories.
Puck is played over the glass, and we will get the whistle and a face-off coming up. Well, the Philadelphia Flyers, back in the early 80s, we got to show you something here. They wore these, they almost looked like pajamas. Look at long pants. They called them Cooperalls. The company Cooper manufactured these pants. There's going to be all the new rage. This is back in 81-82 when Darren Elliott was a youngster at 45 years old. And
that's right, Philadelphia.
Look at those pants. You ever wear those things?
Actually, they're very similar to what's currently being used for roller hockey. But back then, why they were banned in the National Hockey League, you saw the black from waist to skate, and there's the general manager, Bob Clark. He wore them in that sequence. But the black pants of the Flyers from the waist all the way down to the ice, goaltenders complained, as well they should. They had a harder time picking up the flight of the puck through the traffic in front of them.
Matt Johnson keeps momentarily, but it's LeClaire the other way. John LeClaire with a shot, blocked away by Shannon. LeClaire goes to get it into the corner. Lindros losing the handle. It pops free, and Johnson will move it along. Johnson dumping to the Flyers line, but they can't get it any deeper, and again Philadelphia clears it. Seems a little bit like a chess match tonight, Darren. Neither team wanting to take an advantage or maybe go out on a limb with a scoring chance. Waiting for the other team to make a mistake.
I think both teams like to play aggressively on the forecheck, and that we haven't seen a lot of good scoring chances. That speaks volumes at both ends. Find a defensive play by the Flyers in their end. And credit the Thrashers as well. They're playing a very solid defensive game in their own zone.
Philadelphia Flyers have been in town since Wednesday. They played Tuesday night in Carolina, got in a couple of rounds of golf. A lot of the players out in the country club in the South. I believe thanks to Tom Glavine, Braves pitcher.
Well, that's one of the reasons why, if you look at this game, Philadelphia plays tomorrow against their arch rival, the Devils. They've been in town with a little R&R. They've been going real well. The Thrashers, if you come out and play hard, which they've done for more than half a hockey game, you can catch a Philadelphia team that might be looking past the Thrashers tonight. So far, so good for the Thrashers Chargers, and playing Philadelphia stride to stride.
Darren, I remember when I was calling games out in Anaheim, the Colorado Avalanche went to La Costa early twice. Been a little R&R in Southern California, and the Ducks lit them up both times. Those trips to La Costa all of a sudden evaporated as the Flyers will dump right back in.
Well, you know, that'll cost you.
Yes, it will. Not to mention probably all the bets that were wagered on the golf course. Play to the line, Dan McGillis with a shot, getting a piece of it, Norm Miracle. I don't know how he saw that shot, but again, a glove save. Played away, Dan McGillis at the line. That's blocked. Zelapukin with it. Right behind the net, Peter Buzek just moving along on Damon Langkow. Physical play picking up a little bit. Peter Buzek falls down. He might have taken a stick up high, and Paul Navorski blows the whistle, but I don't think we'll get a penalty. Still no score tonight at Phillips.
Before the break, Norm Miracle made a very nice glove save. Take a look at the shots on goal. None for the Thrashers. No wonder they're playing so well defensively. But earlier, here's McGillis with the blast. Look at Yannick Tremblay screen his goaltender. In that situation as a goaltender, you will be all over Tremblay. This is an easy save for Miracle. If Tremblay doesn't come right in front of his netminder and block his vision, Miracle has to tell him, look, I had that one handled. You cannot become a screen by coming over and knocking that Philadelphia Flyer in front. I had it handled. Sometimes, better as a defenseman, stay out of the way.
On the line, Terrion with a shot that just went wide. Played in behind the net. Chasing is Rod Brindamore. Beating for the puck is Gord Murphy. Flyers and Thrashers, no score, and we're under 5 minutes remaining in period 2. Maxim Galanov. Bit of a different game than that game December the 23rd in Philadelphia. Flyers took a 4-1 lead before the Thrashers scored 3 to finish it at 4-4, the tie. Denny Lambert moves right back inside the zone. Sean Donovan, he's back in his first game since being sidelined. Puck played in behind the net. Donovan's there. Backhand of Ferraro. He can't get it past Boucher, and a save that time. And now everybody getting into it in behind the Philadelphia net.
A little pepper pot. Ray Ferraro getting involved with the extra poke, and why not? Try to poke that one home. Denny Lambert always in the middle of it. He's pointing to him, taunting. Then I'll take any one of you. Come on, let's go.
Denny Lambert looking a little bit like Dave the Hammer Schultz, who played for these Philadelphia Flyers back in the mid-70s. We were talking about the Broad Street Bullies. Well, maybe we should call Denny a Techwood bully or something. I don't know. Boy, has he really ignited this club tonight. The Techwood Terror. I like that.
Techwood tough guy, yeah, the Terror. Willing to get involved, though. That is Denny Lambert's MO each and every shift. It seems like we know the camera follows him around, so that means he's right in the middle of everything, and that's what they want. Take a look at Denny Lambert in the top 5. It's a dubious distinction, but Denny Lambert has to play that way.
Denny Lambert goes ahead of Craig Berube because that was going into tonight's game, and Denny Lambert had 5 penalty minutes for fighting in that first period, so he actually has 117.
Don't tell Berube, he's likely to mix it up to regain that 4th spot in the ranking.
How dare you move up the ladder out there, right? Kelly Buckberger and Eric Lindros on the draw. No penalties as a result. Probably good no calls by Paul Dvorsky as the Flyers send right back in.
I like that. Yeah, I actually called him Greg earlier. Greg Dvorsky's brother. Greg is a linesman. So I apologize to, well, Paul and Greg for getting them confused.
In behind the net. Flyers are, Detroit has a rookie netminder by Jason Elliott. I don't call you Jason. Buckberger to the front, and Boucher makes the low glove save. This will force a face-off inside the Philadelphia zone. Kelly Buckberger. Ryan Boucher with a smile, looking a little bit like Scott Fankhauser a couple of games ago. Well, don't forget, Thrashers Rangers on UPN 69 will be on the air Sunday at 1:30 from Madison Square Garden. And then the Thrashers play host to the Boston Bruins right back here with Thrash Talk beginning at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, right here on Turner South. Don't forget, those clubs will meet in Boston on Monday in the afternoon game. But no television. That played right back in. Eric Lindros is there. Holding is John LeClaire, getting roughed over by Chris Tamer. Look out. Lindros holding. LeClaire is there. Somebody's lost a stick. LeClaire cutting in front. LeClaire behind the net. Tamer without a stick. Only it's knocked away. Jason Botterill looks to clear and is sent back through center ice. So Tamer will go to the bench, and they get a quick change here as it's played right back in by Damon Langkow.
Almost not quick enough, though, as Langkow, he lagged behind the play and was almost rewarded.
Look out. Chance in front. Loose puck covered up by Miracle. Bad clearing attempt by Ed Ward, but Miracle makes the save.
He got a little bit scrambly on that shift. Daryl Shannon trying to block the passing lane. His defensive partner, Chris Tamer, had lost his hockey stick. Strong on the puck is Shannon. No call right there. That's where the paying officials. All the fans in attendance thought there should have been a call. Great effort. Daryl Shannon knowing that he had to get the puck out of the zone because his defensive partner, Chris Tamer, as I mentioned, had lost his hockey stick.
Maxim Galanov is back out there, and he's got a big old gash right above his nose.
Showing the referee saying, what do you think? I picked a zit? No, this happened because I got stuck in the face.
Hey, where's Wolfman Jack when you need him, right?
That looks nasty.
Maxim Galanov has a seat. We were talking about Daryl Shannon just moments ago. He's not small, but he's not huge in terms of stature, but he's very, very hard to knock off the puck. Wire players, some from others, harder to knock off the puck, Aaron.
Has to do with their skating technique. Usually they have better balance, a wider base in terms of their skating stride. Daryl Shannon happens to fit that category exactly as you point out. Very sturdy on his feet. Look at the face-offs. Flyers, one of the better teams, all because of Eric Lindros' proficiency in the face-off circle. He's the best player in the National Hockey League on draws.
He was a perfect 4-0 back in that first period as the puck is played in behind the net. Valeri Zelepukin down low as he looks to set it up. Zelepukin with a weak shot. That ends up in behind the net. Andreas Karlsson clears, but not out. Haven't seen much of Andreas Karlsson nor Matt Johnson. Ed Ward's been double shifted on a couple of lines as Dan McGillis at the line shoots high and wide. Puck bounces in front. Gord Murphy looks to clear. And very calmly sends to center. 2-on-1 for Atlanta. Matt Johnson to the line with a shot. It's in behind Boucher, and they can't put it home. Best scoring chance all night for the Atlanta Thrashers. And Trombley will dump deep.
When you see a play like that, man, it seems so obvious. Shoot the puck and good things are likely to happen. Forget the extra pass. Johnson teed it up and almost was rewarded.
Yeah, Johnson talking about that this morning, saying we're getting more and more chances off the turnovers as the Flyers play it for McCarthy, and a shot taken that time off the right pad by Miracle. Ed Ward to center as he commands it right back in behind the Flyers net. Big hit on Terrion. The crowd loved that. Flyers quickly move the other way. Sandy McCarthy back to center as he dumps in. The physical play really picking up. Stefan finds Brunette. Drop pass Stefan. He shoots, just missed the right post. Thought he might have had one. Patrick Stefan with just a goal in his last 25. He's had some assists as Chris Tamer will dump deep. Bit of a power surge here right now for the Thrashers. Terrion with it. And the Flyers break it back. A 2-on-1 developing. Rod Brindamore back in front. There's Jardin, but he's robbed by Miracle.
That was a pretty play. Norm Miracle read it. Excellent save on the short side with his glove. But if you're a basketball fan and you like teams that run, well, this is what this looked like. The Flyers coming through the neutral zone. Prior to that, it was a 2-on-1 for the Thrashers. Matt Johnson showing some good speed. He takes a look, sees Ed Ward. He says, you be the decoy, quack, quack. I'll shoot the puck. And guess what? Ed Ward almost was there, Johnny on the spot for the rebound. That's why shooting the puck always a good play. It doesn't necessarily have to go in on the original shot.
Second intermission tonight. Nancy Newman with injured forward Mike Stapleton. Bob Mason will be along as well. And highlights, look out, chance, side of the net, Recchi. But it's blocked away. Mark Recchi comes right back with it. On the line, Adam Burt. Now Lindros working on Kelly Buckberger. Buckberger and Lindros comes in front. Loose puck taken away. Botterill will find Nelson Emerson. And he'll dump right back in. You look at that matchup between Buckberger and Lindros. It's about the biggest player that can match up against him there.
Well, where Kelly Buckberger had some success in that last game in that matchup was in the face-off circle. Not so tonight. Eric Lindros is dominating Kelly Buckberger on the draws.
Recchi picked by Kelly Buckberger, just trying to move it along in the neutral zone. Under a minute remaining in the second.
But you make a good point. Away from the face-off circle, Kelly Buckberger doing a pretty admirable job on the big 6'4", 230-pound Eric Lindros.
Right offside, right at the Atlanta blue line, and so we're going to face off with 28.4 seconds remaining. Eric Lindros has been quiet. 4 minutes and 44 seconds of ice time in period one. We mentioned the fact that of the 13 goals Philadelphia scored in the last 3 games, only 3 of them have come from the top line. So maybe Roger Nielsen sensing that he should go with the second and third lines a little more.
Oh, they're playing so well. We mentioned Damon Lankow. 2 of the last 3 game-winning goals supplied by him. Talk about some of the other guys. You have Renberg playing well, Brindamore back in the mix. So a lot of depth there, so you don't have to rely necessarily on that top line if you're head coach Roger Nielsen of the Philadelphia Flyers.
Lankow and Ferraro set in for the face-off, and the puck will bounce inside the Philadelphia zone. 22 seconds remaining in the second period. Sandy McCarthy with it. Dumped by Denny Lambert. Now Lambert hit by Damon Lankow. Larry Zelapukin upended. No penalty called. Dvorsky lets him move on. 5 seconds. Ferraro. He'll dump in. Playing it as Boucher. And that's going to do it. End of the second tonight at Phillips Arena. Pushing and shoving at the end. Sean Donovan getting into it a little bit. And guess what? The terror of Techwood in the middle of it. Denny Lambert. Norm Miracle's got to be happy. It's been a goaltender's world tonight at Phillips Arena. No score. Flyers Thrashers as we head to the third period of play. The stats pretty much proving that out. Scoring chances 8 for Philadelphia, 5 for Atlanta.
Talk about control, though. In a 0-0 game, you have to go to possession. That's face-off. Philadelphia started to take it over in the second.
Speaking of face-offs, we're set for the opening face-off to period 3, brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer of the NHL. Kelly Buchberger for Atlanta, Simon Gagne for the Philadelphia Flyers. A little bit surprising considering Eric Lindros has gone 9-3 on face-offs so far tonight against Kelly Buchberger as the puck is played in and Nelson Emerson will set it up.
Line change matchup, though. That Kurt Fraser is the home team getting the last change, so he went ahead. His veteran Kelly Buchberger matched up against the rookie Gagne.
In a case of Fraser just trying to get Kelly Buchberger maybe away from Eric Lindros for a little bit.
Give him a little bit of a rest.
Simon Gagne to center. He'll bring it inside the Atlanta zone, and a weak shot floats wide of the mark. And behind the net, look out, Simon Gagne. They play it for Leclerc, back in front. Gagne there, partially blocked away and cleared by Shannon.
Saw that graphic fly in, first time ever. In the third period, scoreless for the Thrashers.
Uncharted waters, and as we mentioned in the second period, much of a departure from that 8-goal affair. 4-4 the final in Philadelphia just a couple of weeks ago prior to the Christmas holiday, as Sean Donovan will skate it along and he dumps right back in behind the Philly net.
Both teams have done a nice job through the middle part of the ice, the neutral zone, and in their own zone.
Ward Murphy will play it down low. Denny Lambert getting upended by Dan McGillis, and the puck is played through center.
When I say they've done a nice job, obviously in a 0-0 game, I mean from the defensive side of things.
Played away into the corner, losing his helmet is Lankow. Puck played right to the net. Save Miracle, and a rebound played in behind the net. 3 Thrashers players working along the wall if you include Ray Ferraro. Now Renberg without a helmet will center it for Recchi, but he can't finish it off. Chance again in front. It's loose and finally cleared away by Ray Ferraro. He just fired that one over the glass and out of play.
2 great saves by Norm Miracle in tight. The kind that you can't beat. When you saw Bob Mason between the second and third talk about Norm Miracle's potential, he has an awful lot of skill, and in close, his quickness made the difference. Here's the first one on the sequence. The puck bounces. Look at how he was able to move from his right to left so quickly and follow that bouncing puck, and then this one goes right out top. Watch this. He's there before the puck is, so you know he's seeing it and reading it very well. Playing deep, yes, in that sequence, but he had to give himself time to react.
Darren, 18,571 jam-packed Phillips Arena crowd here tonight. It is the largest crowd in Atlanta Thrashers franchise history.
They're seeing a good one.
We talked about it at the top. The hardest ticket so far for a single game, and that includes opening night against the New Jersey Devils. Andreas Karlsson dumping inside the zone. Icing waved off. Matt Johnson down to play it. This ticket was nearly impossible to get a hold of. I've never seen the demand for tickets, and I guess the second Flyers game in here a little bit later on this season is shaping up the same way.
Well, I hope the team is able to make kind of Friday night the traditional home night hockey game, because I think it's a great night for hockey. Friday during your week, work week's over. come on down and watch a hockey game.
Rangers in a little bit later on for a pair of games, and those tickets are very, very scarce as well. Merrick the glove save, and he'll give it off in behind the net. Valeri Zalapukin in behind the net. Knocked away. Daryl Shannon will free it. This clears to Matt Johnson. Open wing. Ed Ward. Handling it is Chris Tamer, and he'll fire it off the glass and back in behind the Philly net. To the line, Maxim Galanov in front. Right there, Stefan. He can't finish it off. Sylvester, he scores!
And the big offensive line doing what they say in basketball, crashing the board. Stefan, he puts it at the hoop. And following up with the rebound, Dean Sylvester. Crash the boards in hockey, say crash the net. Nice play here, nice save by the youngster Boucher. But Dean Sylvester, he went right to the spot. Nice shot as he whipped it past Boucher. Philadelphia caught in a little bit of a lax line change, and that's where changing in the course of action really does impact. Dean Sylvester supplies the 1-0 lead for the Thrashers.
11th of the season, and that line is now accounted for the last 5 points for the Atlanta Thrashers. But look how Jones cuts in behind the net. Don't forget, $100, another $100, courtesy of PowerTel to the Atlanta Thrashers Foundation. They'll give $100 for every goal scored this season by Atlanta. Boucher lets it go. Botterill in behind the net with Buckberger. Holding on to it is Maxim Galanov as he dumps right back in behind the net. Maxim Galanov picking up the second assist along with Patrick Stefan on the Sylvester goal just moments ago. 1-0. The Atlanta Thrashers with the lead. Buckberger turns and he'll dump deep. How does this change the complexion of the game, Darryl?
Well, it shouldn't change a thing for the Thrashers. They need to continue to do exactly what they've been doing throughout this game. Tight in their own zone, keeping it simple, and they have a chance. Frazier wants his team to get up the ice and pressure the Flyers in their own zone. From Philadelphia's standpoint, it might up the ante slightly now that they find themselves trailing in this one.
Well, they're going to mark the face-off coming outside the Philadelphia zone. Dean Sylvester. First in, I believe, 7 games for Dean. And it's a big goal to this point. 1-0 Thrashers over the Philadelphia Flyers. Played through center and dumped right back in. Daryl Shannon just kind of sending one over the glass. We'll get a face-off coming inside of the Atlanta zone.
Thrashers fans, here are tonight's winners from the Superfan contest.
More miracles been tremendous. Give credit to Philadelphia goaltender Brian Boucher. It's been a goaltender's battle. Dean Sylvester's goal just moments ago at 2:57 has been the difference. Jimmy Henderson from Lilburn, Georgia, at ThrashersTV at Turner.com wants to know tonight, is a goalie allowed to come out of the goal during any time of the game or only on penalties and the last minute of the game?
You could pull your goaltender. I'm assuming that's what you mean by coming out of the goal at any point in time, but it's just kind of a low percentage move, so that's why you will only see it in the situations that you outline in your question.
Darren, there was a game many seasons ago where it was goal differential to get into the playoffs, and I don't know if it was the Canadians or the Blackhawks, but one of those teams, I believe they were involved. They pulled the goaltender real early in the game just to try to pad that number as we get an offside and a penalty coming here.
It was one of the tiebreakers that you mentioned, the goal differential to get in to the postseason. In those very rare circumstances, you may see the goaltender pulled in some odd sequences. Being pulled off the ice. Rod Brindamore being sent to the sin bin by referee Dvorsky.
Denny Lambert is going to go with it. Rod Brindamore and Denny Lambert. Well, we dubbed him the Terror of Techwood in the second period. Denny Lambert, Techwood Drive, where Phillips Arena is located. Interference to Denny Lambert. Rod Brindamore also in the penalty box. He goes for high sticking.
Well, that's a retaliation. Obviously, Denny Lambert was getting in the way of Rod Brindamore and getting in his kitchen as well. Brindamore reached out.
Cooking a roast? What do you think?
Never know. Never know.
Maxim Galanov just moments ago on that Sylvester goal. He got one of the 2 assists, and it's his first point as an Atlanta Thrasher. Congratulations to Max.
That's his first cut above his right eye as a Thrasher as well.
I was with him in Pittsburgh, and he's really come along in terms of gaining a grasp on the English language, a little more outgoing this year.
He's played extremely well after missing the first 35 games after having wrist surgery. Missed the first 35 games, he stepped right in. He's playing over 20 minutes a game.
Gord Murphy goes after it. He'll set it up. It's 4-on-4 hockey here. Puck is played right back to the Flyers' blue line. Leclerc comes away with it, but it's intercepted. Gord Murphy, how about his play tonight, Darren? We talk about him, it seems, every night, but he's turning in another great performance.
He and Max Galanov have just meshed as a defensive pairing. Max Galanov, oftentimes as a player, there's no rhyme or reason as to why you do well against certain opponents. Max Galanov has 4 career goals in the National Hockey League in 62 games. 2 of the 4 came in 4 games against the Philadelphia Flyers.
And both here, on the power play.
Right, and here, I'm sure you were there for both of them, but and then what happens? He gets his first point as a Thrasher against the Philadelphia Flyers.
He was picked up last year by Pittsburgh in the waiver draft from the New York Rangers. And evidently there was a conversation between Rangers general manager Neil Smith and the GM in Pittsburgh, Craig Patrick. Neil said, if you ever try to waive him or send him down, I'm just going to take him right back. So Max Galanov ended up playing about 55 games last year in Pittsburgh. Never got sent down, was injured for a while, and filled in very, very well on Pittsburgh's blue line.
Well, right now, that's really the only knock against Galanov. He's been proven to be a little bit brittle, a little bit injury prone.
And behind the net, Ray Ferraro getting dogged by Mark Recchi. Good outlet, Peter Buzek with it. And Sean Donovan. They work it to center, Yannick Tremblay. Buzek at the line, but we're going to get a whistle. What, an illegal hand pass, I think, here. That was kind of an interesting call because it appeared that Peter Buzek just kind of touched it with his glove. Head coach Kurt Fraser. We asked him, a lot of times our camera really does see him on the bench, so we asked him earlier what it's like talking with the players and what he's saying.
Their positioning on the ice, something that could help them to do a better job for us. You know, we're not the type of coaches that a player comes back to the bench, he knows he made a mistake. What we have to do is correct it.
He's always teaching, Darren.
He really is. He's, I think he has a good disposition for a first-year team because he understands that it's a long-term process to get to the point where everybody expects his team to be, and there's no sense berating players. You might as well point out what needs to be done next time in a civil manner.
And right back to the line, big hit, Edward. You're a retired player. Ever an interest in coaching?
Not at this level. I coached high school for a couple of years and found that to be very rewarding.
Well, you had a very, very high graduation rate, right?
Yes, I did at Divine Child, Dearborn, Michigan.
Kids will never be same. Played away and holding is Gord Murphy. Andreas Carlson.
It was actually fun because it was they just put the program back together after about a 10-year hiatus, and it was an expansion team, or a first-year team, if you will, situation at the high school level.
5-on-5 resumes. Brindamore and Lambert out of the penalty boxes. They both go to the bench. Playing it along, Samuelson. Left side, Dan McGillis. He'll take a shot, save. Big rebound in front of Norm Miracle. Upended Kelly Buckberger, no penalty called. Daryl Shannon plays in behind the net. 13:03 remaining in regulation. 1-0 Atlanta. Thrashers getting a goal early at 2:57 of this third period from Dean Sylvester. Doug Lindros with it, and his shot deflected off Shannon's stick. This one goes up over the glass and out of play. 1-0 Thrashers. Thrashers holding on to a 1-0 lead, courtesy of Dean Sylvester's 11th of the season here. Early on in period 3, face-off inside the Atlanta zone. Simone Gagne, Kelly Buckberger. This is a matchup that head coach Kurt Fraser appears to have gone to after Eric Lindros' success on face-offs. Well, Lindros shot right over the top of the net. Right away to the near side, and Daryl Shannon will clear back to center. They get a high stick call here in the neutral zone, so they'll face it off. Well, fans, next Saturday, January the 22nd, the Thrashers will host the FedEx Super Skills competition presented by Nally Corporations. Thrashers players will compete against each other in 7 skills events, including the fastest skater, the hardest shot, the most accurate shot. And all this competition takes place in all the NHL cities and culminates at the All-Star Game in Toronto on February the 6th. It all starts at 11 a.m. Tickets are just $5 at the Phillips Arena box office. Proceeds benefiting local youth hockey. Be there for the fun. Informal Super Skills competition Saturday, January the 22nd, 11 a.m. in the morning. Hope to see you out. That's always a lot of fun, Darren.
I'm looking forward to it.
And the winners from around the league, the top scorers from around the league, will get to do it for the Super Skills in Toronto for the All-Star Game. Simon Gagne, one-timer Leclerc, and getting a blocker on it was Norm Miracle.
There's adjustments. Gagne in the middle. Lindros has moved to the wing, even though he's been so effective in the face-off circle. Keith Jones has been moved off this line. Leclerc and Lindros, the wingers, and the youngster Gagne has centered the 2 towers of strength on the wall.
Chris Tamer moves it along on the near boards, and Shannon will send right back down the length of the ice. That one caught an errant stick blade. So the icing is waved off. Brind'Amour dumping to the line. Shannon looks to take it away. So does Max Galanov, but it's kept. Rod Brind'Amour, but it's knocked free. Oh, what a play, Daryl Shannon. And it's sent right back through center ice and dumped right back in.
Daryl Shannon continues to play fine hockey back on the blue line for Kurt Frazier's Thrashers.
Into the corner, Patrick Stefan bumping with the veteran defenseman Luke Richardson. Mark Recchi comes away with it. 11:22 remaining in the third. 1-0 Thrashers. Dean Sylvester locked up, but Brind'Amour is there. Look out behind the net. Renberg, and a blocker saved by Norm Miracle. Michael Renberg all over him. Gord Murphy comes right to the net. Miracle again the save, and he holds on. And he's bumped into by Rod Brind'Amour, but Brind'Amour tried to hold up. I don't think any intent there, Darren, as we'll get a face-off.
None whatsoever. Norm Miracle showing on that sequence why goaltenders compromise that early position period. Because more often than not, the shooter, if they do come around and wrap the puck around, it's going to be a low shot. Watch, Miracle gets down low, paddle on the ice. They try to wrap it around this way. Miracle's already there with the paddle of his goal stick down on the goal line.
And credit help from number 5, Gord Murphy.
Once again, follow the bouncing puck, Miracle. Sometimes those little innocuous-looking plays can be very difficult. That was one of them. He came up with it cleanly with that very sharp left hand that he uses so well, the catching hand of Norm Miracle.
And Norm Miracle was inoculated on that sequence.
We need to be inoculated.
A lot of flu going around. And behind the net, Valeri Zalabuka tied up with Yannick Tremblay. Look at those things, about $5 at the grocery store.
What's that?
Inoculations.
I don't know.
Show your insurance card and get it for free. Puck played in behind the net. Matt Johnson. Now Adam Burt steals it. Burt's been a fine addition in the blue line core for Philadelphia since coming over from Carolina. On the line, Peter Buzek, and he'll go off the glass again. Flyers trailing it at this point 1-0. Andreas Karlsson. Sam McCarthy dumping right back in. Oracle kind of bobbled that one. Puck played in behind the net. Tremblay got hooked.
And that was a short hop, like a shortstop in baseball with a ball bouncing right in front of him. Miracle just had to body block that one.
Flyers keep it one more time. Peter Buzek hard to the corner against Damon Langkow. Ed Ward playing without a helmet. Meanwhile, we get the whistle as Buzek took an extra shot. The face-off will come inside the Thrasher zone. Remember that clip we ran back in 81-82 when we were showing the Cooperalls? Remember the low pants that we showed, or the long pants in the second half? A couple of the players in that video had no helmets. It's a rule now, you have to wear a helmet.
And they grandfathered that rule in, meaning that if you were already in the league, it was your option whether you had to put a helmet on in the course of play. It was 1980. Now, I believe everybody in the league has to wear a helmet. The last guy, I believe, was Craig McTavish. He retired 3 seasons ago. He was the last guy to go in the National Hockey League sans helmet.
Why would you not want to wear a helmet?
That's just like anything else, it's what you get used to, and some of the old-timers never had one on their head ever, even growing up in minor hockey, so they would never think to put one on.
The goaltenders, a lot of them never wore helmets. Guys like Nump Worsley.
Never wore masks, that's right.
Or mask, I should say, Terry Sawchuk. Well, we see this line matchup again, Lindros against Buckberger, but they chase Lindros, so Simon Gagne will take the draw against Kelly Buckberger. And it's controlled, big draw, won by Atlanta.
And that tells me that Eric Lindros, that hand injury, I think it's still affecting him. If he is not taking the draws initially, and he's often opted not to, that time he got chased. I think he was just trying to get Buckberger chased. I think he's really suffering that with that hand injury, that left hand injury.
He has 1 goal in 10 games, but Eric Lindros is a guy that can light it up at a moment's notice, and it's played back to center. Chris Terrian to LeClaire. They drop it for Lindros. Good play that time, Jason Botterill, and it's cleared away by Kelly Buckberger. He dumps right back inside the Philadelphia zone. Initial play maybe there to get it to Jason Botterill. LeClaire counters, and he'll dump right back in.
The Thrashers, though, they're keeping it simple in all 3 zones, and that is why they've been effective in this hockey game.
Well, Gord Murphy brought that up. He said you got to play a simple game plan against Philadelphia. He also talked, remember, solid positioning. We were talking about that in the first period of tonight's game. Dan McGillis to center. Leaves for Mark Recchi, and he dumps right back in. Gord Murphy tied up in behind the net. Coming away with it is Ray Ferraro. Now Maxim Galanov to center for Sean Donovan. Ferraro holding. Ferraro got tackled that time by Samuelson. No penalty. Wow. Paul Dvorsky lets him play on. Sean Donovan will give chase. Thrashers look to set it up along the wall.
Sean Donovan, Matt, he's had a fine hockey game in his return after missing 4 games. 4 shots on goal through the first 40 minutes of play.
Keith Jones with a shot sticked away by Norm Miracle. Denny Lambert out there, and he plays it without a helmet as it's dumped right in by Ray Ferraro. Quick change now, and when you get late in a hockey game, especially against a big team like Philadelphia, short shifts are the key.
You do not want to get trapped out there and then have to play 20, 30 seconds in your own zone defensively. That's why you change quickly.
Yannick Tremblay to center as Patrick Stefan will give chase. Stefan back. He waves off the forces a non-icing issue inside the Philadelphia zone, and we get a whistle and a stoppage of play. So a Dean Sylvester goal's been the difference. Patrick Stefan and the Thrashers win a lead. Well, there's been no playing chicken tonight out of either of these 2 clubs. Great hockey game. Thrashers with a 1-0 lead. Norm Miracle between the pipes tonight. Brian Boucher countering for the Philadelphia Flyers. As we get a face-off inside the zone. Tremblay. Weak shot played away. Look out, Zelepukin. It'll be sent down. Take away here. They get it back to the line. Terrian will keep. Terrian with a shot blocked away by Dean Sylvester. Puck played down low. Oh, Damon Langkow with it. Look out, Sandy McCarthy out of the corner. He's got something going, and they just sit one wide. Oh, a chance, Damon Langkow. Down is Norm Miracle. They wrap it around, but we're going to get a penalty coming here.
Goaltender interference. Norm Miracle had the back of his legs hacked at by the Flyer who was in front. I couldn't tell originally if it was Zelepukin or McCarthy. And on the spot was referee Paul Dvorsky. Good play down low. McCarthy puts it in front. Miracle trying to get up. Watch Zelepukin, 26. Hack at the back of Miracle and the defenseman. Interference. Buzek was in front of Miracle. It got rather scrambly. Zelepukin going to be called 2 for the price of 1 interference. Huge opportunity for the Thrashers. Kind of a silly penalty by Zelepukin. Look at how he pushed the back of the legs of Buzek, and it was Buzek who actually fell into Miracle. As I said, 2 for the price of 1 for Zelepukin, and it's not one that will endear him to Coach Roger Nielsen.
12:49, the time of the penalty. Roger Nielsen's club shorthanded, and it's a PowerTel Power Play, the official wireless provider of the Atlanta Thrashers. Well, the power play has done nothing over the last sequence of games, Darren. Now it needs to get something going. And it just does.
In one fell swoop, Matt, you can certainly take that out of our vocabulary if they were to score a goal here. It wouldn't be about percentages. It would be about the timeliness of getting one here up a man.
Maxim Galanov will set it up. He works out there with Gord Murphy up front. Denny Lambert, Sean Donovan, and Ray Ferraro. Maybe Gord Murphy replacing Maxim Galanov for the defensive reasoning. Here with 6:48 remaining, and the Thrashers up 1-0. Maxim Galanov to the line with a shot. Trying to get it through traffic. Knocked away. Richardson, good job for Philadelphia. Kept at the line. Gord Murphy, wrist shot. That hit somebody in front. Might have been Sean Donovan. Denny Lambert holding on to it. Feathers behind the net. Ferraro with it. Now Murphy at the line, but Maxim Galanov can't play it along. He sends back in. Not a bad play, but it's going to result in a deliberate offside, so the faceoff comes back all the way down the length of the ice. The conference standings, we look at the top 8. Philadelphia right there with 57 points. Jersey, Toronto, and Florida, they are all division leaders. So even though Philadelphia has more points than Florida, they would get the 4th seed in the East if the playoffs were to start today. That's because they are behind New Jersey. Thrashers, meanwhile, 27 points with 10 wins, one ahead of the New York Islanders. Patrick Stefan with an assist tonight as he's back out there on the power play with Dean Sylvester and Andrew Burnett.
And if the Thrashers are to move up in that conference standing, it'll take Patrick Stefan and his line mates, Dean Sylvester and Andrew Burnett, to be consistent offensively.
Sylvester inside the zone. Brunette hanging out in front. Perimeter play for Brunette. Works it down low to the line. Gord Murphy. Andrew Burnett. Ulf Samuelsson, who's out there killing the penalty for Philadelphia. 50 seconds left in the Thrashers power play. Dean Sylvester. Right back on a feed from Stefan. Patrick Stefan looking to hold on to it. Sylvester behind the net. Dean Sylvester looking around. Smart play for Stefan out of the corner. Murphy at the line. He'll dump into the near corner. Thrashers looking to get something going in front. Right now they're working the perimeter along the wall. Ulf Samuelsson for Philly picks it off. Knocked free. Brunette finds Stefan. Right to the net and a save. Boucher. Behind the net. Now Stefan works it to the line. Murphy back to Stefan. Rink wide pass. Galanov in front looking for the man. It's Brunette. Brunette to Murphy with a shot. Save, and Brunette can't get the rebound. He was wide open. Murphy at the line. Power play over. It's loose in front, and it just hit the outside of the net. Thrashers are buzzing. Simon Gagne goes down, and we'll get a whistle. 1-0 Birds.
Great power play sequence. Right now, they're saying, Brian Boucher, you heel, as the puck just glances off the heel of his goal stick, keeping this one 1-0.
Face off inside the Philly zone. After that, a great chance. Missed on the one-timer by Andrew Burnett. I believe the puck just bounced right over the stick play.
Two young netminders, both performing very well. Norm Miracle for the Thrashers and Brian Boucher for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Buckberger key win on the face-off, and a shot right on. Coming out of the corner, Nelson Emerson back to the line. Flyers will set it up in behind the net. Chris Terrien. That's cleared right back to center ice. Both these teams at full strength as Chris Tamer fires one back in behind the Philadelphia net.
And what an impressive performance by the Thrashers. Philadelphia, they've won 6 straight, 4 on the road. They're one of only 2 teams in the Eastern Conference to even have a winning record on the road, the Ottawa Senators being the other. And the Thrashers really taking it to them to a large degree, in my mind, Matt.
Quick line change here for the Thrashers. Terrien plays it right to the skate of Kelly Buckberger. Now Shannon jumps up on the play. He's trying to get it inside the zone. Buckberger frees it. Knocked away, Daryl Shannon. What a game he's had tonight. He'll dump right back in.
Tremendous. He's back to being the team's leader in minutes played, and that's no exception here again tonight for the 4th consecutive game. He will lead all Thrashers in ice time.
Max Galanov gets hooked. No penalty call. LeClaire to the front of the net, but it's knocked away. Ed Ward strong on the puck. Play behind the net. Keith Jones. They're trying to set up Lindros or LeClaire. Now Ed Ward falling to the ice. He wants a face-off, and he's going to get one here. Boy, Ed Ward just moments ago broke up. Meanwhile, we're going to take a look at tonight's check of the game, brought to you by Bank of America.
Second period, Denny Lambert says, hello, Mr. Zelapukin, take a seat.
The terror of Techwood with tonight's Bank of America check of the game, proud sponsor of the Atlanta Thrashers. For all your banking needs, call or visit Bank of America.
One thing we talked about, Matt, turnaround required on the face-offs in the third period. 10-4 thus far for the Thrashers, so they're doing a nice job neutralizing the control, the possession play of the Flyers.
Face off to the right of Norm Miracle. One quick shot, McGillis, won by Philadelphia as it's played away, and Maxim Galanov clears to center. You just got to believe that the Flyers are going to have 4 or 5 more stellar opportunities in this one. They're just too good offensively. Thrashers, however, with a 1-0 lead as it's cleared but not out. Brind'Amour holds. Brind'Amour right to the front for Renberg. He shoots it, a save, Miracle. The rebound in front, McGillis. That's deflected. High over the glass and out of play.
Norm Miracle, listen to this crowd. And the guy cheering the loudest is Gord Murphy, who uncharacteristically makes a terrible decision to go through the middle of the ice instead of chipping the puck off the boards. Great save by Miracle as he followed it all the way across. And when you play the Philadelphia Flyers as a netminder, you know you're going to have to not only contend with finding the puck, but doing so through traffic because they go to the net. Look at Recchi, number 8, go right to the top of the crease. Miracle forced to make a great save, come up with it through screen. Michael Renberg puts it on goal. Norm Miracle, he's the man so far.
Again, the face-off to the right of that man. 24 saves here tonight for Norm Miracle. 3:18 remaining in regulation. Off the face-off, Tamer can't play it along. Brind'Amour for Philadelphia. Plays to Mark Recchi. He hit the outside of the net. In behind the net, Brind'Amour camped all alone in front, but he can't get his stick on it, and it's cleared outside the zone. Jason Bottle just playing it along. Now Emerson frees it. He takes a shot. Save Boucher. Emerson again with it. Kind of sent it right to the side of the net. Ellie Buckberger, bit of a gamble to keep it inside the Philadelphia zone. Play continues under 3 minutes remaining in regulation.
And right now, as you might expect, nursing a 1-goal lead, the Thrashers in a very passive form. 2-2, almost a 1-4, meaning all 4 defenders, 2 forwards and 2 defensemen, back in the neutral zone trying to disrupt the Flyers' play right there.
Shannon and Zelapukin battling near corner. Zelapukin wins the draw as it's played in behind the net. All over him, Nelson Emerson. Thrashers send it down low. Botterill, and he'll chip it along as it's cleared through center, and the icing here, Darren, is waved off.
Great play, though, by Botterill to take the puck off the boards and get it to safety. Often overlooked, but the winger's ability to make that play key.
Desjardins sent one towards the front. Now Langkow blocked away Gord Murphy. Gord Murphy in behind the net, and it's played around. Look out, Eric Desjardins. Desjardins skates in. He'll take a shot. That got a piece of Miracle sent wide and played outside the zone. Keep an eye on the Flyers goaltender, Brian Boucher. See if they pull him as it's knocked away by Donovan, and again, floated back through center. This will be an icing call. Eric Desjardins back to touch. And an icing call against the Thrashers. Roger Nielsen has a decision. Do you pull goaltender Brian Boucher with 1:33 remaining? The faceoff will come inside the Atlanta zone. Time to take a look at the UPS delivery of the game.
Nice play in tight. Galanov to Stefan. Stefan with the bid. Sylvester with the blast and the goal.
Delivering express packages earlier to more of the world. That's why UPS is the official express delivery company of the Atlanta Thrashers. Not to mention a bunch of other reasons. Head coach Kirk Fraser and Norm Miracle getting set for the final 1:33 of this third period. You pull him now, Darren, 1:33 left. You can go with the extra attacker with a faceoff inside the Atlanta zone. I would pull him right now.
Well, I think that Roger Nielsen has such confidence in his team's ability to control the zone that he thinks that this would be premature to pull his goaltender at this juncture. That they'll get at least 1 or 2 more opportunities down low, the lower third of the offensive zone. That's when the hash marks down to the boards. So he's going to leave him in there for right now.
Buckberger and Lindros again on the face-off. And Buchberger wins the draw. Boy, not much success in the first 2 periods against Lindros, but he's done a terrific job here in the 3rd period as it's sent again down the length of the ice. Back touching Mark Recchi. And we'll get a whistle and a stoppage. 4 forwards out there right now for the Philadelphia Flyers. The lone defenseman, Eric Desjardins, and he's very offensive-minded. Face off again inside the Atlanta zone.
And again, Philadelphia, the top power play team in the league, so when they do get to the eventuality of pulling Brian Boucher, he's banging his goal stick. When you see a goaltender do that, he's trying to get the attention of the coaches on the bench. He wants some clarification as to what's upcoming. When are we going to take me out of goal? They're going to probably have a timeout here. Wilson's going to talk it over, but that's what Boucher was saying. Hey, what's going on here? What are my marching orders?
Officially, it is a timeout called by Philadelphia. Head coach Kurt Fraser, take us through this, Darren. 1:21 left with a 1-0 lead. What is Kurt saying right now to his troops?
Well, he's talking technical. He's saying if we lose the draw, you always take it in your own zone, a face-off in your own zone. You take it from that perspective. You always assume that you're going to lose the draw. But I think more than the technical side of what to do if you do lose the draw is to keep everybody calmed down. Remember, we've played solid hockey for 58.5 minutes. Don't change a thing. You might throw in what they're trying to do, Philadelphia, that is in your advanced scouting report. But more so at this juncture, Kurt Fraser is telling his guys, stay calm, stay positive, just do the little things to get the puck to safety out of the zone.
They're going to mark the face-off inside the Atlanta zone. Kelly Buchberger again to take the draw against Eric Lindros. Net is empty down to our right. Philadelphia with the extra attacker. Lindros, Leclerc, Brind'Amour, and Jones up front. Recchi and Desjardins, the point men for the Flyers. Buchberger loses the draw. Goes right to Eric Desjardins. Recchi with a shot. That went wide. Puck played away and kept inside the zone, but it's not free by Botterill, and he clears the zone. Nelson Emerson back at center, firing towards the empty net. Pretty good play by Recchi to knock it free. A
good play by Emerson, too, though, to get the red line to avoid icing.
Under a minute remaining here in the 3rd period. Flyers trailing the Thrashers 1-0. Puck underneath Buchberger. He'll draw a face-off, and they'll set it inside the Atlanta zone.
Very safe and prudent play by the veteran Buchberger and Murphy in tandem, making sure that puck stayed frozen in the corner. Going back to the keys of the game, well, first period, the team came out, they didn't play well against the Thrashers, but over-the-top performances. We've talked about guys who've been heroic and starts in goal. Everybody's played well. They needed everybody to contribute. They've gotten that. And they've done a nice job up to this point, Matt, in getting the puck out of their own zone and spending as little time in their own zone as they possibly could. Well, they've done all those things very well, and they lead 1-0 as a result.
Face-off again inside the Atlanta zone. This time, Rod Brind'Amour will take the draw as they put Eric Lindros out on the wing. So Brind'Amour and Buchberger on the face-off. Head coach Kurt Fraser wants to scream a few additional instructions. We're set for the draw. Kelly Buchberger, Rod Brind'Amour. Face-off control. Philadelphia with it. Recchi sent it wide. Deflected away maybe by Gord Murphy. And behind that, Lindros bumped by Buchberger. Played around. Comes in front, knocked by Murphy, and he sends down the length of the ice. Nelson Emerson getting chased, but back touching is Recchi, and we'll get an icing call. Yet another face-off to come inside the Atlanta zone.
And that's a huge play. Kurt Fraser knows he had his fastest guy in Nelson Emerson trying to get the icing waved off. If he had gotten to that puck first, the play would have continued instead of the faceoff coming all the way back into the Thrasher zone. Mark Recchi, he showed that he still has a little bit of speed left, some gas in the tank to put on the afterburners, and he beat Emerson to that loose puck. Result, another faceoff in the Thrasher zone, but not before Kurt Fraser says, I'm giving my best guys a rest now. He calls his timeout.
Interesting unit out there. They've got Jason Botterill, Kelly Buchberger, and Nelson Emerson up front. Emerson gives you the speed. Botterill gives you the play along the wall. And, of course, Kelly Buchberger out there for the face-off.
You need size and speed to counteract what Philly can throw at you.
So they discuss strategy at the Thrashers bench. Daryl Shannon out there defensively with Gord Murphy. hockey game. Thrashers with a 1-0 lead thanks to Dean Sylvester's goal back at 2:57 of this third period of play. Roger Nielsen pulling out everything here with the old goaltender, Dean Sylvester. There he is. The Thrashers' goal to this point. Brian Boucher is on the bench for Philadelphia. They have pulled goaltender Brian Boucher for the extra attacker and an empty Philadelphia net. 35.2 seconds remaining. And again, they set Brindamore on the faceoff against Kelly Buckberger. The shots courtesy of Chrysler Plymouth Jeep. Emerson setting up on the far wall on the wing. In the left circle is faceoff's controlled. Buckberger will get it out. Open net Emerson. Plays through center. Botterill. Empty net. He fired it over the top. Botterill had a wide open net. Flyers get it to center. Shannon takes a shot. That's blocked away. Buckberger fighting through a check. He can't send a backhander to the empty net. 12 seconds remain. Recchi to center. For Eric Desjardins. He can't play it along. Puck out of the zone. 5 seconds. Buckberger. Wide open net. He hit the post. But it doesn't matter. End of the game. As the Thrashers have shut out the Philadelphia Flyers. And Norm Miracle with his first National Hockey League shutout.
Unbelievable.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand by for the Bud Light 3 stars of the game.
Norm Miracle, the man of the hour. Everybody getting pats on the back from head coach Kurt Fraser. Thrashers winning it tonight by the final score of 1-0. The scoring summary, period 3. Dean Sylvester with a goal at 2:57. Beautiful setup play by Stefan. You can add an assist to defenseman Maxim Galanov. Plenty to come. Thrashers take out the Flyers. We'll go to the postgame with Nancy Newman when we come back.
Here are tonight's Bud Light 3 stars of the game is selected by...
Hey, get a load of the old timer.
That there is the legendary Radio Robert.
Who?
20 years ago, he was unstoppable. Had a slap shot you could but could not see, hence the nickname Radio.
Yeah, well, they can call him Rusty Robert now. Hey, Rusty!
Don't say it, Tony.
Still got that shot, Tin Man? Let's see it! Oh. Punk.
Hey, maybe you should be a goalie, Tony. Tony?
There you have it, your final score. The Atlanta Thrashers, the lone goal by Dean Sylvester, stands, and Atlanta beats Philly 1-0. And joining us now, Norm Miracle, the victorious goaltender, his first career shutout. And Norm, thanks for taking time out in your first career shutout. You were on a mission tonight. Perhaps the December the 23rd outing fueling your fire.
I felt really good tonight. You know, it was a big game for me. You know, I've been struggling in the past, and Scotty was playing really well. So, you know, Kirk gave me the chance to play tonight, and it was just a great feeling. It was a great outing by everybody.
You responded in a big way. Your new fitness program and a little instruction from Coach Mason helping to pay off?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Mason did a really good job this week. You know, I was struggling for a while, and he's helped me, you know, standing up, playing the puck a little more. And, you know, I got to give it a hands down to everybody. You know, everybody played a great game, and hands off to for Mace for helping me out a lot.
Now, the last time you faced this team, it was an 8-goal affair. You were pulled after they scored 4 goals on you. What was the difference tonight as opposed to that night?
You know, I just wanted to go out there tonight and have fun. You know, you know, at that game, I wasn't really thinking about it. Maybe I was thinking about Christmas or whatever, you know. But, you know, tonight I just wanted to go out and have fun. I just wanted to play really well for the guys, and everything worked out good.
You had fun, and you were fun to watch. Congratulations, Norman, for taking the time. How about the capper of the evening, a $125 gift certificate to Friedman's Shoes?
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Norm. All righty, upstairs to the broadcast booth, Matt and Darren on a big night in Atlanta.
Nancy, all season long, you look for defining moments. What a night for Norm Miracle, but everybody played well for Atlanta.
They really did, but you're not going to get me that quickly to get off the goaltender because the game was dramatic enough when you talk about a 1-0 game. But what about the human drama? Because you know Norm Miracle, he had to live with playing poorly, career-defining moment, absolutely, and to come through like that, that's unbelievable to get to witness that, and you have to feel so good for Norm Miracle, and look at some of those fine saves he made all night long, keeping his team in it.
Now the save with Yannick Tremblay that we just saw right in front of the net, I thought was his best save of the night. He was solid. I also thought a key in the hockey game too, not to mention the play of Norm Miracle, Darren. But how about early on, we were talking about how the Atlanta Thrashers really got their feet moving, and that's a key when you're trying to cycle against a big team like Philadelphia.
Well, the thing is, if you're going to be stationary and static, especially in your own zone against a team like Philadelphia, you're an easy target. You're going to get run over. Thrashers, they did a nice job, as you mentioned, moving their feet, moving the puck, and they did not spend a lot of time in their own zone.
Oh, they didn't. Plenty of action in this one. Let's take a look at tonight's Georgia Power save of the game.
Zelapukin coming in. Eric Desjardins gets the little tip. It's a nice play right there on the side. Desjardins had it. Glove save, Miracle, as he did all night long.
1-0 Thrashers win it. Don't go anywhere. Still plenty to come tonight from Phillips.